Okay, guys and girls. I'm going to do a running commentary on this video by this person, as some of you know as Tom from the Broken Mirror channel. And I woke up this morning, like invariably I do, with a theme, and the theme was there's so many people that are just not exhibiting um, enough gratitude or even remotely a little bit of gratitude for the life that they're living. And when I've watched Tom's videos, those of you that watch Tom, you'll see that he doesn't find, he doesn't seem to find any reason to live, and he curses every day of his existence. And lots of people are calling him a whinge jar, and for goodness sakes, put yourself together. But then there's lots of people that are um, finding an allegiance with his level of desperation for life. And he's very self-effacing, and people find that very easy on the ego. And so if he calls himself broken all the time and a loser and the bottom of the barrel, then no one is going to find any offense with that. But that isn't in actual fact how he does feel about himself. He feels that he's very knowledgeable, very wise, very accomplished in the psychological and spiritual realm. And he's a reasonable advocate of that. And I watched his videos when someone turned me on to him because they said that he'd been mentioned in my videos. And so I listened to what he said, and I watched him, and it's kind of like, well, look, it's quite a lot like me, walking out in the wilderness alone, a lone shark, and speaking his mind and being authentic, and this, that, and the other. And so uh, I spoke with Tom, as some of you all know, and Tom stated that I was his favorite YouTuber, and he watches every one of my videos, save for the ones on cooking and the ones on AI, because he can't stand the people pleasing kind of sycophanto thing with the AI. But all the other videos he relished, and he would mention me quite a lot on his channel. And then I noticed that he was speaking very candidly about his sexual preference. And I thought, well, okay, he's pretty open. And so I think, well, I could have a conversation with him because I would be open on that sort of level. And so I contacted him and says, well, let's do a chat. And we did a chat. And of course, anyone that's seen the video, he had reservations about it because, lots of reasons. I don't want to state what the reasons are, other than kind of like, he considered, well, what's the purpose? What's the reason? What am I going to learn from the Awakened Brave? Well, I mean, if you're going to ask that about coming to have a conversation with me, then surely you would ask that as to why you've been watching my videos. So that didn't ring true. And so we have to look for another reason then, don't we? And if we're not too stupid, then we can come to one sort of conclusion that he didn't want that level of vulnerability. Now, he also speaks about being completely vulnerable. He's vulnerable in his own terms. And he almost didn't come. And I had to prompt him, several times to get him to come for the conversation. And you could see from the very moment he sat down, he was very reluctant and apprehensive. And Okay, for lots of reasons. Because if he has the greatest of level of autonomy on his channel, speaking about this super authentic person who's pretty well travelled and seen a lot and knows a lot, well, he likes that position. Sitting on his throne, and to come outside of his comfort zone and actually be vulnerable, sitting before someone who he holds in very high regard, as is often mentioned. That he considered that I was highly intelligent and awakened, spiritually enlightened to some degree, but only, of course, he couldn't ever measure the magnitude of that, because uh, he evidently isn't at that sort of level. And I'm not, it's not the one-upmanship, but I can see things in Tom that he's not realized as yet. And I said in the last video, I made in relation to him, that he's 20 years my junior. And so some things have to be said, people. We can't be pussyfooting around. Oh, we're all equal and we're all on the same level and this, that, and the other. When you look at people, you can see that there's a difference in the level, because of what they convey. Now, Tom's often said that he held me high and he put me on a pedestal. Um, and so, well, I mean, I always have stated to my viewers, don't ever put me on a pedestal. Don't do that to anyone, because there's only one place that that person's going in your estimation, and that's down. They're never gonna live up to the test of time, being up there on the ivory tower that you put them on. That in your estimation, they're going to be coming crashing down at some stage, and that's nothing to do with them. Now, Tom maintains that the reason why he became disenchanted with me is because he's seen the light now, and he's realized that I'm not as enlightened as I proclaim I am. And so now he's took a sledgehammer to my pedestal and brought me crashing down, and now left me in the debris and moved on to find other gurus. Now, here's the thing. You see, look, what I'm often speaking about is people's contradictions, and we all have contradictions, and so this is a trait of the human being. But there's many in what Tom says, and he doesn't appear to be aware of the vast majority of them. And so he was saying that he's so sick of looking up to people, that he doesn't feel as if he's ever going to do it again, and yet he's already promoting other channels and he's already got his gurus. So rather than me speak extensively, because it's going to take long enough, this is about a 20-minute video, and it's going to take a long time to do the commentary, but I just wanted to give the overview. Now, I like Tom's way, and I think we'd have some good conversations and would get along if he wasn't so obstinate in what he thought he knew. And one of the accusations he's levelled at me is that I can't see the full extent of the Jewish conspiracy. And I said, well, I have seen through that kind of like conspiracy thing. Look, it is going on, but it's not the only one. And there's conspiracies within conspiracies within conspiracies. And so Tom's just settled at one. He's happy with that one. But when we look deeper at the world and all its machinations, we can see that the whole world is a conspiracy. The cosmos has a conspiracy going. I mean, the cosmos is conspiring to make us think that there's a reality here and we are real human beings. That's a conspiracy of the ultimate magnitude. And so this is where I am. This is where I'm seeing the world from. And this is why I'm always blustering about my enlightenment, because I've seen this. And lots of people, they don't like that. They like people that are self-effacing because they don't want to feel offended. They don't want to listen to a braggart. But at some stage, things have got to be said. Now, I've been doing these videos for many years now, and from the very, very beginning, when I was speaking and getting no interaction, I was always bewildered. What actually is going on? Am I an alien? Am I speaking double Dutch? Am I speaking complete and utter shit? But then through the years, I was reading a great deal of stuff and watching a great deal of stuff, and I realized that no, I was speaking the same sort of stuff that the most renowned gurus on the planet have all been saying. And I said, well, look, the simple thing is, it's just a state of consciousness. And I can't lay claim to creating my state of consciousness via my will per se. Of course, I've took the entheogens, and I've done the meditation, I've done the reading, I've done the introspection, and I've studied psychology and philosophy. Of course, I've done all that. But the actual building blocks for the capacity to do that must have been a genetic or a spiritual thing. And so I know that. And I've been doing what I've been doing all these years. And I very, very seldomly do I come upon anyone who can sit down in front of me and have this level of conversation. Tom, he did it once, and he'll probably never do it again, because he can't see into my outer concentric circle of consciousness. And this isn't a YouTube, I'm better than him, this and that. I am what's called the awakened brave. You know that. I profess that I'm awoken, and I'm brave because it took an enormous amount of bravery to get here. And the whole thing about the hero's journey is that we are brave, and we don't stop at nothing, and we keep pushing forward, pushing forward, pushing forward, until in the end we reach some sort of a level of inner satiation, peace, and satisfaction with our journey. So there were lots of things that I wanted to speak with Tom about, but he wasn't up for it. And the other thing is, he claims that the world is flat. Of course, the magnitude of that is vast. Where is a person's mind when they are seriously, holding fast to that one? I mean, those of you that are long in the tooth, we've all been down these rabbit holes. We've been down the Jewish conspiracy rabbit hole. We've been down the flat hole rabbit hole. We've been down the Nibiru rabbit hole. We've been down the paedophile fucking government rings rabbit hole. We've been down a whole bunch of them, haven't we? And we can say, well, there's an element or a great deal of truth in lots of this stuff. But if we're going to have resentment and, have those things affecting us, then what we are doing, we are stealing away the opportunity of finding the deep inner peace within ourselves. And so this is what Tom isn't grasping. And that's why Tom is like he is, because he hasn't found his spiritual self. He hasn't found that deep inner peace and contentment which he's looking for in other gurus. And that's why he's continuing to look for gurus, because unconsciously that's what he's looking for. But he doesn't say it. He says, oh, I'm broken and I'm messed up and I'm worthless and I'm a piece of shit and, I can't see any point in life and all these different sorts of things. Well, isn't that the sort of parlance that a person who is so far away from being spiritually awoken or enlightened would say? Yes, because they are completely immersed in the matrixial facet. Now, Tom asked me for some advice, saying, how could I help his situation? And he said to me, the only thing that you could say to me was meditate. Well, it wasn't the only thing. I told him that he had to address all of his addictions, because unless he had addressed all of his addictions and became free, then he could never find that peace in his mind, because you've got to get the body free for a start. You have to get the matrixial free from the start. You have to get the matrixial avatar free from the slavery, from the suppression, from the dogma, from the indoctrinations, from the vices and from the fears and from the anxieties and all this. There's a whole bunch of stuff that we we have to break free of before we're ever going to be getting this level of peace within the spiritual realm. And so that's what I write about in my book, The Dark Night of the Soul. 7 years I went through a very, very dark, transformative place. And Tom hasn't been through that. He's not had a knock which was hard enough to destabilize him to the position whereby he becomes absolutely reclusive and doesn't want to convey his wisdom to the world, because that's what he's doing. He thinks he's got a lot of wisdom. And as he said, he says about myself and him, we are, much more conscious than the average Joe, and it is so. But Tom still has a good deal of the journey to go. And so I'm going to start this video and then speak through what I see and what I think that Tom is expressing. Okay, let's play the video.
I'm a spastic. So I fully realised this last night. I totally let go of any stories that I am anything, that I will ever be anything, that there is even anything to be. I've really been witnessing my own insanity and the insanity of others the last few days. People that I used to have on a pedestal, people that I used to think were maybe enlightened.
So, well, the face says it all. And so obviously he's referring to me because we had this conversation a few days ago. And I think Tom considers that we fell out. But I don't have any beef against Tom. We're all on this learning curve. And I can see where he is. But let's see.
Teacher. Yeah, just seeing how.
Well, look, what he's saying here is like, let's just listen to that again, right? Let's just listen to that again, because what he's doing, he's alluding to me, and he's decrying whatever I am. Why is he doing that? Because he considers now that he's seen more than what I see, and now he sees someone that isn't so infallible. But what happened, Tom? You put me up on the pedestal. You watched me. You called me your favorite YouTuber, and you made videos, and you were saying, why doesn't this man's channel have more views? He's such an inspiration, this, that, and the other. So the deficit lies with you, not with me, because I hadn't changed. In all of my videos, my disposition hadn't changed. So you were watching me, and I was blustering about my genius and my enlightenment and all the rest of it, which we're going to get into later. I was doing that from the get-go, as far as you're concerned, watching my videos. And so that wasn't the issue, because if that was the issue, then you would have felt that way initially. But you never. You felt that way after our interaction, and I was inquiring, and what can you say? I was requesting or some sort of level of maybe coercion, of saying, look, you say you're authentic, so be authentic then and come and speak to me about these things. And so that was an affront to him, not ready for that level of authenticity, obviously. He's only ready for his own level of authenticity. You see, this is the whole thing. When you're going to have a platform, and when you're going to be speaking like this, and you spoke so-called spitting truth, and he's made all different sorts of illusions how he's spitting truth, and he's wiser, and he said it. And goodness me, he's not been very self-effacing at all, to be quite frank, and he makes mention of this. This level of I'm a spastic is only a new newfound fake humility. And I don't say that in any demeaning way. It's just stages people go through, and it's the stage Tom's going through now, because he's become disillusioned with his own hero, guru seeking self. And so he's calling himself a spastic because he's realized once again that yes, he was wrong. And, he thought the answers to all of his problems were in this person or in that person. And then it turned out that there weren't. And so then he's come back to himself and he's found his pity party again. And so now, at what level of self-deprecation is spastic? I mean, it doesn't really get any lower than that, does it?
Defensive they are, or how much varying stories. But anyway, I'll talk about myself.
Well, so how defensive they are. He considers I'm defensive. And, I'm the one that offered you the platform to come and to point out all the areas where you think I'm being defensive, and then let the viewer judge whether I'm hiding anything or not being authentic. But no, so he wants to have this level of projection, but he doesn't want to accept my invitation to come down and speak about all these things one by one until we've absolutely saturated whatever the issue is, and we've got some sort of level of grounding whereby we've found some sort of agreement or not. And if we can't find the agreement, then we have to look, why is it that our minds can't find the agreement? Now, for instance, if I was to speak with Flat Earth about Tom would reel off a few of the reasons why he's convinced that the Earth is flat, and if I reeled off loads which is obvious why the Earth isn't flat, then he'll have some sort of objection. He'll deny it and he'll throw them out, and he won't want to consider them. And that's what all flat earthers do. Why? Because they desperately want to believe in that. It's like if I was having a conversation with a religious person like Richard Dawkins has in the past. Well, they don't go anywhere because the religious person is absolutely adamant that they want to believe. And that's, of course, all what they're doing is believing. Now, Richard Dawkins isn't a believer. He's a scientist and he's an investigator as to what actually is the truth. And so that's the difference. One is actually looking for the truth and one is the believer. So at this moment in time, Tom is the believer. He's not actually looking for truth because he's only found himself a few things to believe in, and he's stopped there. He's happy there. And so let us continue.
So, last night, I don't watch many travel vloggers, but last night I was so desperate to escape myself, and nothing could take me away from the pain of existing. So I just started fucking putting on videos that I would.
Well, look, if you are in such a desperate state, how could you ever consider that you're wise? Because some people, they could consider that they've realized that the world is a terrible place and it's run by evil, and there's just traps around every corner, and we eat shit and die and all that different sort of stuff, until you enter into the spiritual realm. And when you enter into the spiritual realm of being spiritually awoken or spiritually enlightened, then you can see that this is all folly, it's all a dream, it's all illusion, it's all Maya, and you wouldn't be buying into it, but you're buying into it. You've got your pity party going on for one, walking out in the woods. Oh my God, I don't know, maybe I'm going to kill myself this afternoon, maybe I'll last until tomorrow. It's so dreadful. My existence isn't worth anything at all. What's going on here, Tom, in your videos? It seems to me that you are playing a part. You're playing a part of this super authentic person, and you feel as if that's going to give you more traction. And you've already told us incessantly that the only reason you're doing these videos is to make money. And so you realize by watching my videos that I'm not self-effacing, I'm more aggrandizing, and many people are not susceptible to that. They don't like that. They shy away from that. They're intimidated by that. they're offended by that, a whole bunch of things. And I do that for a very good reason, because I don't want the variety of follower which is going to be following a pity party. I ain't throwing no pity party on my channel. I'm telling you people that there's something that I have found, and it sounds like not a single one of you have found it, at least to the extent I've found it. But if I'm wrong, then I'm open for you to come to tell me and show me, but you never do. So therefore, I have to just carry on assuming that I'm correct, because after all these years, I've never met another person like me, and so we must be very, very far and few between. But Tom considers that's all a projection, and I'm hiding my insecurity, and that's why I'm puffing my chest up. I'm asking the whole world will come and try and put some pins in my chest to see if you can deflate it, and then show me for the charlatan I am, and so all the air will come bursting out, and then I'll be this pathetic little broken human being, like the Fat Controller around the curtain on the Wizard of Oz.
Never usually put on, just in the hope that one of them might grip me enough to forget how much existential dread I live in.
Oh, goodness me. You see, look, Tom, been looking for a guru all of his life. And he came upon my channel and he put me on a pedestal. And then, because of our interaction and his fear and his lack of wisdom, then, you know, we couldn't have conversations. Now, I proposed to him that you know, we could have a good chat, and he actually said yes, we could do this once a fortnight. And I thought, well, that's great, okay, we're on a winner, because we could talk incessantly about a whole bunch of things. But you know, obviously one consideration Tom's got is that he did hold me, and he still does. He still holds me in high regard, and that some of his breadwinning viewers may defect to mine once they see that I'm more of an intellect, more thorough in my discourses. I follow logic and reason a great deal more, and I do actually investigate the dark parts and anything that I consider that I may be hiding from myself, and this, that, and the other. I've looked at all this stuff, and so this is why I'm not being this vulnerable. No, I've done the work, Tom. I've done 20 years more work than you. That's why I'm not throwing a pity party, and because I know that this whole thing, like quantum physicists say, like some of the greatest philosophers say, like the greatest gurus say, they say it's all Maya. So why are you so invested in it, and why are you so feeling hard done to? You think it's so real? Goodness me, get a grip of yourself and get in touch with your spirit, bro.
And yeah, one of them kind of did that. It was, I can only assume, a very well-known travel blogger. Don't know his name, don't know anything about his channel, but it will be massive because the guy's incredible.
Okay, another
what
guru.
he does.
I'm another guru.
So he went to the most deprived town in China and met all the locals. The guy spoke fluent Chinese. Like, I mean, this guy must be pulling in major numbers. You know, not just blagging it, trying to scrape enough together so he can survive in the third world. I suppose, you know, it's not...
I mean, this is a constant with Tom. Oh, life! It's such a drag. Please, Cosmos, just take me now. Take me now. I just can't find the energy or the will to take another step of this godforsaken hell.
I don't strive. I don't want to be known. Obviously, I want my videos to be seen because I want to earn money, but I don't want to be known. I don't want to be rich.
Well, it was only like 2 months ago that you was saying that you was all excited because you think that you'd found the key to having a massive platform via your authenticity, because no one really is authentic out there, and surely the human being must value authenticity. And so then you was all excited about becoming massive and known and the guru. But then when that never happened, you became disenchanted with it, and that now you're saying, and you'll say it in this video, you would have thought that people would have held in more high regard someone being authentic, and so you was a bit bewildered as to why that is. And in actual fact, most people, if you are being authentic and vulnerable, then they will pick at you, because it's a fucking it's a hen fucking pecking party, isn't it, at the end of the day? And there's always someone that's just going to want to put you down, and as soon as they see a weakness, then they're going to want to capitalize on that. It's dog eat dog, mate. And so yes, all this vulnerable stuff, I mean, where does it take you? It just makes people maybe feel a little bit better about their lives than your shit life. And so whenever they feel about killing themselves, they can say, well, at least my life's not as bad as Tom's. Is that what you're doing here, mate? Are you trying to save souls? I don't think so.
Because I've spent all my life wanting to be rich.
Well, there you go.
But I'm not of the external world anymore. I'm not interested in material things. Like, I honestly, past $2,000 a month, I can't think what I would spend the money on anymore. There was a time when I would spend it on rent boys, or yachts, or Ferraris. But I just don't want any of that anymore. Like, the idea of being on a yacht is so fucking boring.
I wonder if Tom ever had a yacht. I wonder if indeed he ever had a Ferrari. Maybe you've got some photos of you in this Ferrari, Tom. That'd be interesting to see. I mean, what does the Ferrari cost? I mean, I don't know, the 100 grand, 200 grand, I've got no idea. But if you're going to be buying a Ferrari, then you would have thought you would have had millions in the bank. And I don't really see Tom as being a millionaire or former millionaire. Well, I mean, have you got any photos of the Ferrari, Tom?
Thing to me. Like, where would you walk? What would you do? And the only way you can entertain yourself on a yacht is with others. Well, other people just do my head in. Like, I'm so past the point of ever wanting anything from another other than their eyes on this screen, so I can afford to buy my foo noodles.
And so, well, I mean, what's that saying? You, the viewer, watching his videos, are just a commodity. And he's always made it plain, such as I have. We're very similar in lots of respects. He finds humanity to be such an abomination, and he doesn't want to see anybody, he doesn't want to be around anyone, he doesn't want to talk to anyone. He just wants to use his platform to be able to provide him with his existence of being lonely and pitiful, really, because it'd be a whole different ball game if he was up in that environment and he ever said, but which he never does, look at this, how beautiful this is, look how soft and lush this beautiful grass is, feel the bark on these trees, can you hear those birds, look at these new buds coming, look at the clouds, no, he doesn't ever say anything like that. He's completely oblivious to his surroundings. In actual fact, the only reason he's up there is because he wants to get away from the noise and people, because he hates society, he hates people, he hates himself, and he hates life, to be fair, because he's never in any of his videos displayed anything which he considers to be beautiful. And that's very sad, isn't it?
But yeah, it was really interesting to see, because I've been for a while, I've been like, oh, should I edit harder? Should I try harder? Should I put more into it? Because I mean, my travel blog videos are literally the laziest travel blog videos you'll ever see. I literally just film what I'm doing as I'm doing it, put it all together, don't edit it, bang it out there. And what I do have is authenticity and honesty, which not many other YouTubers have.
To a degree.
They're my selling points. It's not editing, it's not going to this incredible place.
I mean, look, he's always proclaiming his authenticity, and yet he doesn't actually go on anyone else's platform. He won't be subject to anyone else's questions. Now, if you are really authentic, then if you are really vulnerable, go and sit before someone who's going to ask you questions, probing questions, Tom, questions that the last thing you want to do is answer. You're not this authentic person as you proclaim. You are the one that's hiding all your vast insecurities, and yet you project that onto me, that I'm hiding my insecurities. No, I'm here. You can stab at my insecurities, and I'll stab at yours, and let's see how it goes, and let's see if we discover something about ourselves. It wouldn't be a battle, Tom. It's not a battle. It's nothing that you have to be afraid of. You see, and some people could say, I mean, Tom, as he's alluded to this, that, one of the reasons, probably the main reason I want to talk to him is to get some of his viewers. Well, I'm not interested in his viewers because his viewers obviously are looking for something different. And so there are some of his viewers that watch my videos now, and so there'll be some spillover, but I've never been interested in viewers, and it's completely inauthentic of him to say that, because he well knows that in every other one of my videos I'm calling my audience a bunch of cunts and telling them to fuck off, and so you could never level that at me. You could never level anything at me that I'm doing anything for viewers. What I've always done is chastised my viewers into saying something. If you're going to watch my videos, what I say, if you're going to fucking keep coming back, then try to find the fucking strength and the gumption to say something. Just to let me know what your opinion is and why you are still here. I've just got an inquiring mind. I realise I'm a fucking last vestige of a dying breed, but hey, that's how I'm made.
It's like, I watched there's a woman called, begins with N. She's quite big. And she only does like big, hard-hitting videos. Like she'll travel around the world and be like, this is the poorest slum. This is the city that has the most struggle. Like whatever, like big, catchy titles and things. And sometimes when I see that, I'm like, oh my God, I'm so inferior. Like I literally just film my life. But then I realise it's because she's fucking boring.
Well, hang on. Why do you feel like you're so inferior? Because someone's got more views than you and their channel is massive, and you want that. Deep down, you want that because you want to feel wanted and understood and loved and all that sort of stuff. And, why do you always, whenever you mention a channel, you mention how big their channel is? I mean, I don't think I've ever mentioned how big anyone's channel is. I speak about the content of someone's channel and what they're saying. And if I mention channels like Russell Brand or Candice Owens or Tucker Carlson, or sometimes I'll mention lots of channels, I've never ever, they've got millions of views and their channels are huge. It's just not a consideration, but it always is with Tom. And so he's always looking through the single eye of the green-eyed monster.
Because she's not at all real or authentic. Like she can't just show her normal life.
So what's that? Is that now a projection that you dismiss whatever she's got going on, millions of views, but she's a dumbass and she's not authentic, and so therefore whatever she's doing isn't worth a wank, and yet you live in envy of it. So there's so many contradictions with Tom's so-called philosophy.
and it be in the slightest bit interesting to anyone, she has to focus on the external thing, which she does very well at.
Well, that's what the Matrix is about, Tom.
I think the point I was trying to say there was, like, really, last night, I really, because there has been a part of me that's, when I first started out, when I first landed in Mexico, my intention was to just move all the time. One, for myself, because I wanted to see the world, or I thought I wanted to see the world. You soon realise that, it's all the same. I mean, it's also very different, but it's all the same.
Well, the point is, if you don't appreciate anything about anywhere that you are, why would you want to go and see the world? You see, that's the thing. You didn't even know within yourself that you had no level of appreciation for the world. So your ego told you, I'm going to travel the world and I'm going to be this global globe-trotting, YouTube guru, and doing all these travel videos and this, that, and the other. But then you realise that, well, it doesn't matter where you are, because you hate yourself wherever you are. And so, what's the point in going to all the hassle and the expense to go anywhere else when you don't appreciate anywhere or anything, because you're bound in so much self-hate?
And I was watching a nature video in Africa the other day, and they were like going through this river, and just this realization that before I'd done this second stint of living abroad, I would have seen that and been like, oh, I want to go to Africa, I want to see that, I want to experience that. But watching it, I was just like, yeah, it's exactly the same as everything I've ever experienced. Except, there's going to be like, different people with different cultures, and it's going to be worse.
Another big disappointment.
Yeah, so I'd sort of had this, so that was my initial story, that I was just going to travel for me and for the channel. And then I realised that wasn't really sustainable.
Look,
but I still...
channel is for you, because it's all about you. It's all about earning, and it's all about drawing in viewers and getting richer and more famous. I don't know whether I remember Tom ever imparting any information with the intention to actually help anyone. He may claim that by showing his vulnerable nature, that then is an invitation to be vulnerable yourselves. But to what avail? To end up throwing a pity party like you, hating the world and cursing yourself and considering that you're a spastic and a loser. Well, where's that going to get anyone, Tom? Nobody wants to wallow down in that self-pity. People want to start stepping up on the odd rung of the ladder. Where's your inspirational videos? And all these death breaths. There's a death breath in every sentence. It's like it's his last breath. And to breathe another breath is such a hardship. Come on, Tom. You need to take a little bit of advice, and the advice I gave you was to see if you can master this meditation, because unless you master this meditation, you won't find your way out of that dark place. You have to go deep within. You have to override the ego, your Thanatos, your death wish. You have to override that. You have to find the light. You have to feel the light. You have to head towards the light, and it's going to take a long time. This is the dark night of the soul. You've not traveled that path, Tom. You've not traveled the hero's journey. You've not been on any real journey, to be honest.
I had this slight I wonder if I'll go and do the whole small brain podcast thing where I'm like, India is a shithole, and go to India knowing that it will be a shithole, and knowing that I'll get content that will be watched far more than me just walking around Dalat. Oh man, there's just no way. There's just no way that I would put myself through that, the planes, and then India, no, there's just no fucking way. But anyway, I've gone off on tangents I didn't really want to go off in. Like, what I wanted to speak into was this just letting go of any stories that what I do is in some way special, or that I'm in some way special, or that my channel is going to become recognized or big because I'm special. Like, no, like just realizing that, no, it's like, and at the end of the day, you get what you give, and I give bare minimal effort.
So you just acknowledged that obviously you did want all those things. And because they never came to you overnight, businesses take many, many years, unless you're very, very lucky. And if your videos go viral, it doesn't mean anything, Tommy. You know it doesn't mean anything. So why would you? What difference would it make if you was making £1 million a month? Like you said, what would you do with more than £2,000? So therefore, it's time to change course, isn't it? It's time to change the attitude and maybe the delivery. Move in a different direction. And, I don't know, 2 or 3 weeks ago, he made videos like, oh, I don't know where I'm going to go, what I'm going to do with these channels, and this, that, and the other. Anyway, whilst you're watching, people, look, here we go. Thumb up. I always thumb up Tom's videos because they're worthwhile watching. For whatever reason. And what I will always say to people, if you get through a fucking video, or if you at least get through half of it, it's maintained your interest, then show a little bit of appreciation, a bit of gratitude, but people don't. And so this is the main reason why I wanted to make this video, because I can see that there's very, very few people that got any gratitude about anything on this world at this moment in time. And in the comments of Tom's videos, lots of people are jumping on the pity party. Oh yeah, this is shit, that's it, oh fucking hell, all the immigrants and fucking the governments and oh goodness me. But you've never had it better, people. You've never had it better.
The only slight caveat to that is the authenticity thing. Like, I give maximum authenticity, which you would think would be rewarded in such an inauthentic world. And I think it is. I think that's how I scrape by. Certainly not the editing. This video hasn't gone how I wanted it to go. I really wanted to speak in.
And so, well, is that all you feel that you have to offer? You throwing a pity party every day, showing people how vulnerable and sad you are and how disaffected. That's got a variety of a market. It's got, what's he got? He's got 4,000 subscribers on this channel, is it? Let's have a look what that is. 4,500 subscribers. Gets a lot of engagement. People enjoy listening to this sort of self-deprecating and dead-end sort of rhetoric.
Into like seeing the bullshit in oneself and others. So really, it was only 4 or 5 months ago I was in Bali and thinking that, I was moving towards being some sort of spiritual teacher or some sort of way shower or even that there was somewhere to go. And I was being very heavily influenced at the time by somebody that I saw as a teacher. So this is the other thing. I've the last week, 2 weeks maybe, I've just seen through any.
So here is speaking about me, being very influenced about me, and now the last 2 weeks since we've been talking and having our conversations, then he deems he's seen through me. Well, no, Tom, what you've done is you've seen through yourself, because it was you that was looking for a guru. And you was looking for someone that had all the answers, and now you're starting to realize that in actual fact nobody has any answers. We're all just blindly feeling around in the dark, and we're all conveying what we consider our truth is, but our truth is our truth. And is nobody else's truth per se. And so, well, you've got to continue to look for your truth, and you will never find your truth whilst you're looking for it in videos out there and in the Matrix world, which that's all you seem to be doing. No, Tom, you're going to find truth, the only truth that exists in this dimension, and that's within you. That's within the deep darkest crevices of your consciousness. That's where the truth resides. And so until you start to do that, you'll never find it. And so he held me in high regard because I was saying things that he was aspiring to, but then he could never get there. And he did try in recent times to meditate, but he failed miserably. And so therefore he thought, well, the advice that I gave him, which was to meditate, well, that ain't worth a fucking wank. Well, because you've not tried hard enough, Tom. But if you listened to people that have meditated for many years, then they will all tell you, and goodness me, ideologies and religions are premised on the sanctitude and solace of meditation. And so you've got that very, very wrong. And so yes, he had a guru. That was me at some stage, and because I've been calling him out and saying, well, if you're so authentic, you say you're authentic all the time. All I'm doing, Tom, is that I'm just inviting you to be what you're conveying that you are. So I think we could have some great conversations, both being authentic and all that. But it appears that I'm the only authentic one here, and you just are the charlatan of being authentic. Now, someone who trolled him big time and terrified him to the extent whereby he had to run away from another country and do all this sort of ducking and diving. He contacted me in the comments, and he was calling Tom a charlatan and full of crap, and he isn't anything like what he's conveying to be. And I said, well, the funny thing is, and I told Tom this in our conversation because I am actually authentic. I said, well, look, this person said that about you, and that's what I'm seeing. I'm seeing that you're conveying that you're super vulnerable and super authentic, and yet you're terrified of having a face-to-face conversation. And so, well, that must mean then that you don't have any inner strength. You don't have any confidence in any of the things that you think you know, because if someone like me, who you hold in high regard as an intellect, is going to ask you questions that you can't answer adequately, well, you're going to be shown to be a charlatan, or at least you're going to be shown that you've been very naive and misguided. And so therefore then you need to go back to ground zero, and you need to start to rebuild yourself again. Now, the thing is about what Tom's done, and Tom is one of these people, it's like David Icke. He will never ever give credit to any of the source of his information. He always lays it on the line that it's his and his alone. And now, granted, Tom, has mentioned my channel on other people's channels, and so he does do that. But what I have come to know about Tom is when he's been watching my videos, I can see he's been watching my videos, and I can see he's actually speaking about learning things from my videos, but he's not given my video the shout out. And he's watched me for long enough. He held me on a pedestal as his guru. And so therefore he must have been learning from me every single day. And so would it not be fair to say, Tom, that the realizations that you've had now have come via my videos and via my prompting you and via my requesting that we do the chats, but via my challenging you? I've challenged you. Who else has challenged you other than the troll? I've challenged you in a meaningful way to get you to reflect upon lots of the things that you think are true, and to investigate them, to go back. Stop thinking that things are in the future, and in the future. Just go back inside to the roots of you, Tom. That's what you got to do. You got to peel off all the layers, and you got to go back inside. But that's what you're not doing. And so that's what this guru has been telling people to do all this time. And so maybe some of this information's gone in subliminally, and now he thinks it's his own generation. You see, that's the thing. We can read many, many books, and then we can have some insight, and we can think, oh, we thought about that ourselves. When in actual fact, if you look back in all the books, well, that's where the information derived from,
Anybody that's putting themselves on a pedestal. So you know, there was this guy that I met in Bali who I have a lot of love for, and I have a lot of respect for him, that like I just see another human struggling. So there's no judgment in anything I say, but it is my reality that I want to speak into. So yesterday I watched a video from him. So basically he's just gone through a breakup and he's hurting, you know. So like every spastic human, he was in a co-addiction. He was in a co-addiction with a horrible woman that was controlling him, wouldn't even call it a relationship, let alone give him intimacy. I saw this relationship play out, and it was just the most needy thing I'd ever seen, really. It was just a classic co-addiction where she was completely disempowered and felt like she couldn't fucking survive on her own. And he had this wound around needing to care for others, so obviously the perfect co-addiction. So she would just click her fingers, like we'd be sat having a coffee, and she'd be like, needs to go 2 minutes down the road where she could very easily walk. But she'd made up this story about her knees, so she could be a victim. And he'd just jump, you know, like go, get the bike, take her here, take, like whatever she said, she, you know, like.
But, you know, here again, you know, chastising someone for being a victim, about her knees and about this and that. Well, every single one of your videos, that they're full of your victimhood. And so don't you think that's a contradiction? Don't you think that that's like throwing stones when you live in a glass house? Do you not see that? And so if you are going to, you know, stand on your pedestal, you know, you've got this deep inner strength, and you know, you don't let yourself be controlled by this, that, and the other. Well, from the moment you get out of bed to the moment you go to bed, you're being controlled by negative entities. And so that's plain to see. You don't have control over your own body. You don't have any self-volition. You're being operated every single day by Klingons, negative demonic Klingons, mind virus. That's a mind virus you've got there, Tom. And if you ever pulled yourself toward yourself, and if you ever had some reflection about how you see me, you might read my book whilst you're out there, while in the hours away. And in my book I speak about vampiric negative demonic attachments and mind viruses, and then you might start to realize a thing or two, and then you might start to learn to meditate. You might learn to appreciate life. You might learn a great deal of stuff from that book. And this goes to anybody who has a mind to learn about themselves.
She was a fussy eater, of course. So, you know, deciding what restaurant they were going to was a massive fucking ordeal for them. All because of her. Anyway, so it was just a classic co-addiction. And that ended recently. And just watching.
A classic co-addiction. Well, isn't your smoking of tobacco and marijuana a classic co-addiction? Isn't your discourses about how negative you see the world an addiction? You know, these are drivers within you. They're not you, Tom. They're not your body. They are illegal immigrants residing in your body. They are squatters. In my book, I write about these squatters, and I write about how we clean our house out of all these squatters. And you might find that chapter alone world changing. Yes, I do bluster about my spiritual enlightenment, because I have seen a great deal more than the vast majority of people, and I've actually wrote about it in a book. And so every single one of those pages is going to be imbued with wisdom for those who have the facility to be able to absorb it and see it.
Him in his videos, in like the stories he's telling himself, so he doesn't have to accept the truth. And it's funny because he will even use the word co-addiction. Like he you can see like there's you know, like, you can almost see it for what it is, but then you can see this spiritual ego coming in and having to spiritualify it all. So yesterday he was talking about, like, he's lost his twin, like, rather than just being like, I've lost the thing that I could focus on, so I didn't have to realize how much pain I was in, and I can't deal with the pain that I'm in. Rather than just acknowledging that, he's going into this story about twin flame, which apparently is deeper than a soul contract, you know, just fucking stories and absolute nonsense. And now, because she's left the contract of the twin flame, he can't complete his contract, and that's why he's in pain. Not because he's fucking broken and has never learned how to, you know, look after himself the way he looked after her.
Yes, and this is one of the reasons I like to listen to Tom's videos, is because he's calling bullshit, and all this nonsense about twin flames and soul partners and, you know, this, that, and the other. Where's the efficacy to all this stuff? It's just ideas. It's just stories. Religions are just stories. In actual fact, everything is stories. You know, space is a story. Quantum physics is a story. Everything's a story because everything derives out of consciousness, and it's all been invented and curated and schemed by consciousness. And so, of course, that's what humans do. We just tell ourselves stories, because if we didn't tell ourselves stories, if consciousness didn't tell itself a story, then there wouldn't be manifestations of anything. There'd just be the conscious void. There'd be an empty dreamer. But consciousness does tell itself stories. It does dream, and then it projects its dreams onto the blank canvas of the cosmos, or so it would appear.
No, it's because he can't complete his soul contract, and now he's going to have to reincarnate. Like, the amount of stories in there, like, just total stories. You know, just really seeing it for what it is, like this spiritual scene, what many people call the New Age scene. Like, it's just made up stories. It's exactly the same cope as religion. Belief, it's belief. You know, it's coming back to this, like, I believe. Well, you're still in the I, like, you're still of the mind, you're still completely operating from the ego. Like, what are you doing? Like, you've got all these fancy words, and it's just so boring. I think he was the last.
Well, it's boring if you don't have an interest in psychology. But if you have an interest in psychology, then, of course, humanity is extremely fascinating. And I think that's one of the incredible benefits of consciousness creating the human beings, because we're so diverse. And often, you know, when we hear about the most bizarre things that human beings do, it's kind of like, how is it possible that humans could have done that to themselves, other humans, or animals? And then, well, you have to broaden your parameters of investigation, and then you'll say to yourself, well, that's the beauty, really, of the cosmos. There's no parameters. It will have whatever extreme to whatever dimension. It's gonna be creating that. It's gonna be leaving the creation open to us. I mean, human beings with certain aptitudes and this, that, and the other. Well, let's see what the human being's gonna do. Let's create Adam and Eve, and let's just let them loose to see what chaos they can cause. Yeah. And so if you find an interest in that, and you find that intriguing, enthralling, and, interesting and all that, well, it wouldn't be boring, Tom. So why dismiss the whole of the human race as boring because you can't find the interest in psychology? You seem to have a level of interest in your own psychology. Well, I mean, you kind of like saying it here that your psychology isn't any different to anybody else's. We're all sharing much of a muchness with each other. And so, well, yeah, but if you conclude then that life is boring, well, I mean, there's an option, Tom. There's an option. Why don't you take that option? Instead of just going through life complaining about it, take the action. That's what I would recommend to people. And then Let's see how they squirm with all the reasons why they don't want to take the option. And then you should say to yourself, well, here's the thing then. All your whinging and that is not really authentic, is it? Because you do actually like living, you do want to live, you do want to see how it pans out. So therefore, all your whinging about being authentic and hating the world, well, it's just a ruse, isn't it? It's just like a selling stance. It is a platform on which you've built yourself to sell something to the world. That's what it seems to me, to be fair, Tom, because if you did really feel about yourself and the world like you proclaim you did, well, there's no reason for me to see you or anybody else on YouTube next week.
Last person I will ever put on a pedestal. The last time I'll ever fall for it. And don't get me wrong, he's not lying. Like he's lied to himself. He believes all this shit. This is his coping mechanism. You know, it's not like.
But there he says the last time he's ever going to fall for putting anyone on the pedestal. Well, you put them on the pedestal, Tom. I'm pretty sure that they're not standing on a pedestal. And if you come round my house, you'll see that I'm not standing on a pedestal. I'm sitting in a chair in front of a computer. And, you know, if I bluster about my genius, well, you know, you got to look between the lines on things like that. You got to look at as to, does he really believe that? Could he be saying that for an alternative sort of objective? I mean, what's he getting at here? Is he a big provocateur? Does he just want to rile people? Does he want to upset people? Does he want to rile people to the point whereby they're, well, you think you're so great that they want to challenge him? What's the Awakened doing? He's just rattling cages. He's been rattling cages ever since he's been doing this fucking YouTube thing. Because basically, if you go to a zoo and you see the animals just lying disinterested and fucking uninspired on the floor, then you want to fucking rattle the cage and you want to throw them a fucking peanut or poke them with a stick, don't you? You want something. You don't just want to see one of these animals, which should be filled with vitality, lying fucking cosmatos on the floor. And that's how I see the vast majority of the humanity. Like you do, Tom. Only so what have I been doing? I've realised that I see vastly more than most people, it would appear. And so then I start throwing it in their faces. And I start saying, well, I must be enlightened because I see things that you will never even dream of seeing. Am I lying? Am I lying? Or am I wrong? Am I wrong? Well, if I'm wrong, come and tell me then. Go write something down if I'm wrong. That's all I've been doing, Tom. That's all I've been doing. But you couldn't see that. You just saw it as an ego and inauthentic and this, that, and the other. I've tried all different sorts of tactics over the years to get life out of the zombie, which we call human being. And to be quite frank, all of those efforts have fell flat on their face. The human being doesn't really have any fucking life and zest. And the few that do are out there doing their own thing. They're out there fucking living it and being zestful and all that, this, that, and the other. They're not sitting watching videos like mine and Tom's because they've got better things to do in their fucking lives, to be honest.
He's trying to trick people or anything like that. Like, no, we're all just coping. Like, of course, there are some people who fully, you know, like, I don't know, like, what was he called, John of God, or, you know, I don't know, I don't want to comment on any of that, because you never know unless you're there. But, yeah, I have no doubt that this man believes every word he's saying, because it's a delusion, it's a coping mechanism. And then you've got the other YouTuber that I used to look up to a lot, who, you know, I've mentioned a lot on this channel, I've been on his channel.
TheAwakenedBrave.
You know, like, I used to watch his videos and actually made me believe what he was saying and believe that he might have been enlightened. But, like, now it's just so obvious to me how desperate he is to be enlightened from the ego. Like, he's so angry and so defensive. And when I watch the people...
Defensive. I mean, this is, you know, I'm open. I'm welcoming anyone to come to probe my defenses. Awakened one, why are you so defensive? And please tell me what guise that comes under. What is it that I'm defending? What weakness, what shallowness, what pain and suffering and hurt and this, that, and the other? which I haven't spoken about in many of our videos, which I haven't given the world something like 16 hours of my therapy sessions unabridged. So what is it that I'm protecting and not being authentic about, and this, that, and the other? No, I have seen, just like you have, Tom, that people are very wanting. And so, well, at the end of the day, instead of just like, oh, softly, and laying all your wisdom before them, and they can take it or leave it, because most people will just fucking leave it because they don't know the value of it. They've got no idea. These fuckers would walk by fucking diamonds and pearls, not realizing that they've got any fucking monetary value at all. This is the world we're dealing with, and after a while it gets old. After a while it gets fucking tedious. And I was going to bluster to my viewers in a video today. Just little things. I just put up some videos of my little critters, and I don't know, maybe there's only 20 views, but like one thumb up or no thumbs up, and I'm like, what is the state of humanity at this moment in time? Even if you've seen the video before, I put up in the title, these videos never get old. I can watch these videos forever. They are so beautiful. They're so inspiring. They make me have such a gratitude that I actually feel something about this life that I'm living, like the vast majority of you fuckers out there do not. You simply do fucking not. And if you see a video of Providence or Gifted, oh, I've seen videos of Providence or Gifted, what are you looking for? That's what I want to know. What the fuck are you looking for in this world? And this is a question I wanted to ask Tom. Tom, what the fuck are you looking for? You go from one guru to another. You are elevating all these people. And then, the thing is, like, this is what I'm saying. I've always said, I've took a sketch out of this series of the 70s, or, it was the 70s, of Kung Fu, it was called, with David Carradine, with this Shaolin temple monk. And then, the master says, grasshopper, when you can take this stone from my hand, it is time for you to leave. And, it's a metaphor, but one of the things he has to do is to be fast enough to grab it. But it's not just the speed, it's of course, it's the whole mental thing. And then by the time David Carradine looks like he's about 18 years old, he's a man in his own right. Well, he took the stone, and it was time for him to go and do his stuff. So what have you done, Tom? You've been watching my videos, you've been watching your guru to a point whereby you realize some more stuff about yourself. You didn't realize it about me, mate. You realized it about yourself, that you've been putting people on pedestals, you've been holding them in a high regard, but you've been looking for the answers to the cosmos when they don't reside in anybody else. They reside in you. And I told you that the answer lies within you, and that's why the greatest information that anyone could ever give anyone is to look within. That's what Jesus said. Go into your closet, close the fucking door, shut down, and shut the fuck up. That's what Jesus said. So I offered you, Tom, and I offered you to try to think about overcoming your viruses, your prison, in all of its guises. But you think you're wise, and you think I'm a fucking charlatan, or I'm not enlightened, because anyone that says they're enlightened, they don't need to say it, and blah blah blah. No, you're wrong. And keep going, keep listening, keep fucking learning, keep reading, and one day, Tom, you'll realize that hang on, actually, the TheAwakenedBrave, he was onto something. And you'll be back. You'll be back, Tom. That's if you ever leave. I don't think you'll ever leave. Because you're just kidding yourself at this moment in time, because you've been hurt again.
I'm going to go on to speak about, so Nathan, or vibes and frequencies. Just the complete opposite. Like with him, you can really feel this energy of like, he doesn't need anything from you. Like he's genuinely just sharing his experience. Whereas like the other one who's just like,
TheAwakenedBrave,
so determined to prove to you that he's more enlightened than you. Like it comes from such a broken place. It comes from a place of being dismissed all his life. And
Well, look, there's some truth which Tom is speaking about here now. I'm so desperate to get the acknowledgement. Well, what I have been somewhat desperate about is to find the others. And I've said this, and I've said this, and I've said this, and I've told you, my viewers, forever. I'm looking for some real human beings. I'm looking for some human beings with a level of spiritual connection and intellect and whatever it is that I have. I'm looking for somebody else in my fucking pond. That's what I'm looking for. And I've laid fucking pearls before swine for years and years and years, to the point whereby, yes, I'm now angry and frustrated and scornful. And I will scorn you motherfuckers every day of my fucking life until the day I fucking have my fucking final death breath, in an endeavor to shake you the fuck up, wake you the fuck up, try to encourage you to have a little bit of fucking courage and to do some meditation and read some fucking books and travel, to do something, to try to live up remotely to the fucking namesake that we have as a species, Homo sapiens. It means wise humans. Well, I haven't found any of these wise fucking humans, and I've been looking a great deal, and I've been all over the fucking world looking for these wise humans. I've found a few that kind of like get close, but I haven't really found anyone that I can sit down with and have the deepest levels of philosophical conversations with and insight, and we'll just keep investigating and investigating and investigating. I haven't found this, people. And this is why I'm such a prolific reader and listener to the greatest of thinkers that have ever lived on the fucking planet. That's where I spend all my time. And so, because I've been out there in those realms of Nietzsche and fucking Parmenides and Schopenhauer and Kant and all that, well, I'm looking down. I'm like Zarathustra on this fucking mountain. I'm looking down at the lowly fucking humans. And so I'm always saying to you, I'm not self-effacing. I'm not like, oh, we if we say we're enlightened, then we're not, and all this bullshit. Now, I've looked around at the world, I've made my assessment, and to be quite frank, I don't think there's a single one of my viewers that would ever fucking doubt it. They would ever doubt that I'm in a level which is vastly outside of all of you. And even when some of you would contest that, like Tom is contesting it, you wouldn't dare to come to speak with me. Why is that? Why is that, people? These are the questions I'm asking. What the fuck is it? It's just a human life. It's just a pathetic little fucking existence for most people. And who the fuck really cares? Nobody fucking gives a fuck. And yet you're all constrained and you're contained, and your ego's got you bound in fucking shackles and chains and in the Platonic fucking cave. You can't fucking do it. Yes, I bluster like fuck because I obviously am a vastly more enlightened being than any of you fuckers out there. And so, again, I'm welcoming you all. I'm welcoming you all. Come in fives and tens if you need the support of each other to call me all the cunts under the sun. And, oh, you're not awakened because of this. Come on, just fucking come on. But you won't. And this is to you, Tom, as well. When are you going to man up? When are you going to fucking grow some? When are you going to come and enable yourself? Be vulnerable and open to me asking you what you really mean and pointing out some stuff. And let's see where the conversation goes, Tom. That's what I want to do.
It's attention seeking, basically. It's for small child attention seeking, which, when you know about his past and his trauma, he lost his mum when he was 4 years old in horrific circumstances. Like, of course, he's craving for attention. And also, he is supremely intelligent compared to most humans. And when you live as a more intellectually blessed human, and potentially more enlightened, like, there's no doubt he is more enlightened than your average person, but he's still like just so of the ego, so desperate for recognition that
So, well, you've said it there. And so, look, here's the thing. Here's the psychology, Tom. If you have been throwing pearls to swine for many, many years, and your comment section is emptied, and nobody wants to come to speak with you. Nobody even thinks that you are remotely interesting to have a fucking couple of hours conversation with, because like you once said recently, you couldn't find any reason why you would come to speak with me because you didn't feel as if there's anything to learn from me. Well, don't you think that that's because you're looking only within your narrow parameter of consciousness? And, to be fair, Tom, look, I like Tom. I got a lot of time for him, and I would like to have an ongoing conversation because he is the only fucking other person out there on the internet that I could even begin to do this with this level of authenticity and openness to a degree. But you still got a long way to go, Tom. You got a long way to go because you're still in a delusion of your own authenticity and openness. But if you have been throwing pearls to swine forever, then what do you think is going to be the end game? What do you think is going to be the result of that? Don't you think that kind of like love and devotion and desire to raise people up and to find the others and to have intellectual conversations, don't you think that that's going to turn into scorn because all you've been speaking to is fucking goats, fucking wildebeest and fucking sheep? All of your life. And so therefore, yes, there's going to be a level of scorn. And let me tell you now that any of you that think enlightened people don't have scorn because it's all love and peace and bullshit. No, I've listened to all those fucking gurus out there, and I've seen every single one of them, and I've read every single one of them stuff, and I've seen it. The gurus get fucking pissed off. They get tired of the fucking idiot, and there's no exception to this. And this is just what intelligent people do, and this is why philosophers retreat. This is why gurus retreat. This is why, in actual fact, Tom is retreating because he has a level of perception about the world which is vastly over and above the fucking herd in the street. But it doesn't mean to say that we've all got somewhere to go. We've all got somewhere higher to achieve. And, it isn't this fucking humble bullshit. This humble bullshit is just something that's been projected upon us. And it's been conveyed in the New Testament, like Jesus was humble and turned the other cheek and judge not. And no. Turning the other cheek and judging not. And no, none of that will take you anywhere. None of that ain't going to take you anywhere except being someone's bitch and someone's slave. Let me tell you that now. And it's a classic example. Just look at the world now. If you're going to be turning the other cheek, if you're going to be humble, if you're not going to be judging, well, you are going to end up what you fucking are now. Slaves on a fucking globe. Right? That's what you are. So all this stuff that these so-called gurus have espoused, they ain't espoused it. Let me tell you that now. Some fucker else has with the intention of control. That's who's espoused that fucking bullshit. So there's no insecurity. There's no need for me to be put on a pedestal and worshipped. How do you think that I need to be worshipped when I'm sifting through the fucking wheat and chaff? I've got very, very high standards. I want people who are very well read, who are very well experienced, and are actually enlightened beings. That's what I want. And so if I don't get that, then everything else is just fucking mediocre to me, and it doesn't mean anything.
What I was trying to say is it's understandable, like when you are of a heightened intelligence and you don't get that recognition, like of course it's frustrating. And then,
So why do you have a problem with it then? Why do you feel it necessary to axe my pedestal? Because you've just laid out all this stuff, and then you've give it validation. And so I think it would be fair just to go back and just see what actually the full context was.
Attention. And also, he is supremely intelligent compared. Just the complete opposite. Like with him, you can really feel this energy of like, he doesn't need anything from you. Like he's genuinely just sharing his experience. Whereas like the other one who's just like so determined to prove to you that he's more enlightened than you. Like it comes from such a broken place. It comes from a place of being dismissed all his life. And
Dismissed all my life. Wow. How's that then? I've been dismissed all my life. Well, maybe you'd like to enlarge on that. And coming from, somewhere where I've been so broken and, need to be acknowledged. Well, need to be acknowledged. I mean, what context? I mean, if you look back at, well, you can't now because most of the videos are gone. But my videos, they were on a teaching level. I wanted to engage in people in certain facets. I was an open mind, and still am an open mind, and exploring all different sorts of stuff. When I started these YouTube channels. And I was like the town crier, crying out, like John the Baptist, crying out in the wilderness. Is there anyone there? Is there anyone there? Has anybody actually had any out-of-body experiences? Has anybody actually experienced this with psychedelics? Has anybody actually had these supernatural religious dreams? Is there anybody that's read, the fucking Bible in its entirety, for God's sake? How many Christians proclaim they're Christians, and then you could ask them to quote this, that, and the other, and they wouldn't have a fucking clue because they've only ever read a few fucking excerpts of Matthew, Mark, and fucking Luke. It's shocking. It's pathetic. I'm not standing for it. I'm not fucking standing for it. And if you consider that a weakness, because I'm so desperate, well, you got a long way to go, Tom. Now, you see, look, he's contemplating what he wants to say here, because now he doesn't want to be scornful. He doesn't want to be overly demeaning, because he still has a good deal of affection for me. That's apparent. But because of the challenge I've presented him, then he's got to come back with something to protect himself. What he's projecting onto me, he's actually doing. He's the one that's doing it. Because I'm the one that's saying, well, I'm available to talk about all of these things with anybody. And that's why I go to see psychiatrists of my own volition. I go to see therapists of my own volition. I want to open myself up to them so they can look inside me and tell me something I don't know about myself. But they haven't been able to do that. All they've ever done is told me back what I've told them. And so isn't that curious, people?
It's attention seeking, basically. It's for small child attention seeking, which, when you know about his past and his trauma, he lost his mum when he was 4 years old in horrific circumstances. Like, of course, he's craving for attention. And also, he is supremely intelligent compared to most humans. And when you live as a more intellectually blessed human, and potentially more enlightened, like, there's no doubt he is more enlightened than your average person, but he's still like just so of the ego, so desperate for recognition that
Well, I think you're confusing the recognition with acknowledgement. What I've been looking for engagement. And engagement on the level where I speak at, there has to be a level of acknowledgement. And this is why I don't get the engagement, because there's no acknowledgement. And if you're going to have the acknowledgement, then you have to have the experience. And so this is where I'm coming from. I'm looking for people who have experienced some or many of the things that I've experienced. Then, if they feel as if they have a level of acknowledgement with me and a similar sort of thing, how many people on my channel have found my channel and said, thank God I found your channel, because you are saying the things that I have been thinking about, but I'm not articulate like you, so I can't make videos, but I'm so glad I found your channel. Just like probably Tom was initially, because I was saying the things that he was thinking. And then the only thing that Tom's missing, and he's doing no more or no less than any other my viewers. Now, he came for one conversation, and will probably never come back until he's a little bit more enlightened. But I'm looking for people who can have these levels of conversation one-on-one. And if I can't find it, then I am going to be blustering. I am going to be demeaning. I am going to be throwing a fire in the fucking hole. I've told everybody this. I'm not hiding anything. I'm not pretending. I'm not desperately seeking attention. It's not the attention that I fucking need. I'm a mountain of a man. I need the engagement. That's what I'm looking for. Because when you are of a high intellect and a high spiritual connection, you look down upon the masses as sad motherfuckers. And it's kind of like, well, is there anyone else here? Or is it only me that's been cursed with a level of fucking genius? And when you look into all these philosophers and all these gurus, well, what do? They go to the top of the mountain, they go in their cave, they go in their monastery, or they sit in their little office fucking just writing their thoughts down. That's all philosophers have done. And so if I was back 200, 300, 500 years ago, whatever, then I would have been writing it down, incessantly writing. Would Tom be saying that every one of these philosophers and spiritual people is desperately seeking attention? Or are they just looking for the others? Are they looking for other people that see the world like they do? Yeah, that's what you're missing, Tom.
What I was trying to say is it's understandable, like when you are of a heightened intelligence and you don't get that recognition, like of course it's frustrating. And then, you know, you'll try and justify it like, well, I'm just too spiritual for everyone, I'm just too intelligent for everyone, which of course is truth.
Well, look, goodness me! Look what Tom. You know what? Look what Tom's doing. He's giving you something in one hand and he's taking it back in the other. In every sentence, he's giving you something, then he's taking it back. Or rather, in this particular instance, he's taking something away, and then he's going, "Oh, on the other hand, he'll give it back." And you know, and so. Yeah, I mean, look, can we not see the dichotomy? It must be exceedingly frustrating. And I wonder whether there's any end to it. And, I've often said that I'm a Libra on the scales. And so, therefore, being born under that constellation would bestow me, inflict me, whatever you want to see it as having this scales, this balance. And so, I can see things this way and then I can see things that way. And my old man always used to say to me, you'll never hang yourself, because I could never make a definitive decision because my true essence is in the middle. There's no definitive decision because it's a paradox. And so I am everything. I am this and I am that. And so, well, I mean, this is the paradox of what it is to be a human being on a deeper level when people make certain realizations.
It's also a cope. It's also a defense mechanism.
A cope? Well, I mean, I don't know what sort of cope. I mean, I seem to be coping very, very well. I've coped all my life. I've been very, very independent. I've travelled, vastly more extensively than you have, Tom. I've owned my own businesses more than you have. I've done more than you have. And what I'm still lacking. I'm still looking for the adoration. I'm looking for my peers to give me something that I don't have. For fuck's sake. I mean, that's the complete polar opposite of what I'm about. No, what I'm about is I'm about looking for the others. And I'm about trying to get them by any which way. And I've tried all the softly shit, and that doesn't work. So then I try the absolute fucking bitter, demeaning fucking shit, and that doesn't work. So then I fluctuate between the fucking two, and an endeavour that whilst I'm panning for fucking gold, I'm going to find the odd flake whilst I'm here having this human excursion. Because if I didn't make these videos, then I don't want to talk to the cunt in the street. I'm never going to find it out in the fucking street. The only way I'm possibly going to fucking find any semblance of any level of fucking spiritual achievement or fucking high intellect is out in the fucking world's platform of the internet. And goodness me, I've been doing this for so fucking long, and I've only ever found, let's say, 10 people who would even come close. So look at what the numbers we're dealing with, people. Tom, I'm not desperate. I'm not an attention seeker. I'm not insecure. No, what I'm doing is I'm desirous to find some others who see the world, feel the world, think of the world like I do, so I can have some intelligent conversations, because that's one of my greatest um, passions. I love to speak with another enlightened being. It's absolutely blissful. I suppose it's like if you're in an orchestra, just playing the violin on your own ain't a lot of fucking fun. It's great to have other violinists and maybe a fucking trombone and a saxophone in as well, isn't it? That's what I'm looking for, Tom. And I thought I may have found it in you, but obviously I was wrong.
Now, everything I've just described about them and in them, you know, there'll be elements of that in me too, and maybe very strong. You know, maybe I'm sure. Well, of course, like that's what the shadow is. Like we can't see the shadow. We're not aware of the shadow. Like, and the bits that you're not aware of, that are in the unconscious, they're the bits that control you. So there's two YouTubers that I'm aware of. I'm sure there's more, that are really authentically expressing without much or any ego, from what I can feel.
And so why is that important? Why I think it's important, if Tom is looking for someone without any ego, then he's looking for someone that isn't going to be offending his ego. Because if he had settled his ego, then he wouldn't give a fuck about anybody else's ego. And this is where I am now, because I don't give a fuck about anybody's ego, because I realize that the ego is the human operating system, and every single person has one. And if they proclaim and pretend not to, then you're going to be shocked and disappointed again, Tom, because there's going to come a time when you're going to see through their fakeness. Oh, I didn't think this person had an ego. And then it turns out this person got angry. This person said this person did that. And now I just see he's like all the rest of them. So then you're going to go on to look for another fucking guru on a pedestal. Tom, your only truth you're ever going to find is within you. You don't need to keep searching. But the reason why you keep searching is because you don't know it's within you, because you are so far flung from being awakened or enlightened, because you've got, a reasonable grip on human psychology, and you've looked around the matrix and you see how it is, that it's an idiocracy, but you haven't elevated into a high state of consciousness, and so you're trapped within it, and that's why you feel embittered and angry and you feel it's all pointless. But it isn't when you get outside of it, because when you get outside of it, then the natural world opens up to you in such a beautiful, incredible way. The cosmos opens up to you. The whole thing about the human being will open up to you as just a beautiful collage of things that we can get involved with. We can get involved with music. We can get involved with art. We can get involved with creation. We can get involved with cage fighting. We can get involved in a whole billion things. It's an incredible experience. But if you can't find the joy in that, if you can't see the cosmic rationale to that, then it's because your ego is so massive and so disaffected. And so it's your ego that you've got to diminish, and then you won't be questioning anybody else's ego. And so here's Tom saying that, I'm, so, driven by my ego, and I need people flocking and looking and worshipping whatever, when, in all my videos, I'm absolutely conveying the opposite. So what part of that don't you get? The part that he's struggling with is because his ego is affected, because he's looking for something that he's never going to find in anyone. And so now he stated at the beginning of this video that he's absolutely fucking over with looking for fucking gurus now and putting people on pedestal, and yet he's going to be promoting some more, and he's going to be worshipping some more. And so again, another fucking schism, another direct contradiction and paradox.
And they are Marshall Buckenway. Now his channel is very varied. Like he'll do videos like talking about the whole man-woman thing, and very of this world stuff. But he doesn't, what I love about him is he just shows his enlightenment without stating it. Like his videos aren't you.
Well, the thing is, look, you consider that he shows his enlightenment when you don't know what enlightenment is. You will only know what enlightenment is if you are actually enlightened. But that stands to reason, doesn't it? So what are you doing? Then you are looking for someone who isn't going to be triggering your ego. Now, your ego has been triggered by my ego. And this is what happens, of course, with YouTubers. It's happening all over the world. Go look at it. You've seen it yourselves. And so Tom's got his channel, and he often speaks about my channel's insignificant. Nobody watches me, and so why would I want to come and speak with you? And yet, he's always, speaking about me. The things I've said in my videos have been a foundation to the way he sees the world now, and so he thinks that he can just dismiss and move on from the Awakened Brave. Well, it's like we all have teachers, don't we? We have a teacher up until a point whereby we need to go on our own. And how many of you, the viewer, you've been incessant viewers, you've watched every video, and then you've grown weary, or you've needed a change, you've gone away, and then you've come back. Because you realise that there's value in what I say, and even though you don't like the delivery because it's not what you're looking for on occasion, because I can, be hot and cold, and I can, be very, very opposing in lots of videos. I can do a beautiful gifty video, and then the next video I'll be ripping you all the new fucking arseholes, and you're not ready for that. You feel destabilized, and a friend of mine who I used to go walking and philosophizing with for years. I used to call him Mr. Nobody. He always used to say that I'm always, pulling the rug out from under people's feet. I'm giving something in one hand and I'm taking it back in the other. And I'm saying yes, because I'm the cosmic jester. I'm not telling anyone there's any fucking truth. I'm not alluding to that there's any fucking truth. I've never found anything remotely which resembles truth. The world is a paradox, and it's just a whole fucking conglomerate of chaos. And anyone that thinks they're going to find some sort of semblance or fucking truth or the answer is delusional. Never ever in my whole life have I considered that I'm going to be finding truth. And so it seems to me that Tom's still looking for truth. And so that's why he keeps needing to go to look for the gurus.
Even really about that, but it just comes through. And he's talking a lot about nothingness at the moment, and he actually just did a 12-hour live stream where he just sat there and did nothing.
So one of the things Tom had a problem with, and he mentioned in our conversation on WhatsApp, he said he finds my whole attack on the pink ape to be so abhorrent. And yet, doesn't Tom attack the pink ape in every one of his videos? By saying and making videos that I never want to see or speak to anybody else again, calling everyone plebs and complaining about everything. And so why did he find my attack on the pink ape so abhorrent? That's another question. So many questions. To find someone's actions abhorrent and yet do them yourself, without knowing, without realizing it. I mean, where's the wisdom in that?
I mean, I didn't watch it. Obviously, it's boring as hell, but I just thought it was phenomenal. Like, he's just really real, and isn't trying to be anything.
So he didn't watch it because it was boring as hell, but he's really real. He's not trying to be anything. Well, I mean, I don't know. Well, where's the harm in trying to be something if anybody is trying to be something? Don't we all try to be something? Isn't that what we do in life? We try to be something. And you see, look, when you've got someone like Donald Trump, now his rhetoric, people say, oh, he's an egotist and, X, Y, and Z. But when you look at him from his position, a very successful person with a reasonable intellect, and albeit he can't string too much of a fucking intellectual sentence together, there's something there that has got him into this position. So there has to be a level of intelligence there somehow. Now, what he's realised is that the vast majority of people that are going to be voting for him are going to be very, very, very low consciousness. And so what does he do? He deploys tactics whereby he has to tell them his qualifications. He has to tell them, how powerful he is and how insightful he is, because he tells them all that nobody builds a tower like Trump. Nobody's going to build a wall like Trump. Nobody's going to be a better president than Trump. Now, you may think that's it's attention seeking and it's braggart and it's completely unevolved, but if you look at it from an intelligent perspective, this is what the Awakened Brave does, then you can see that Trump is deploying tactics. Because if he doesn't tell the stupid cunt in the street that he's great and everything he's going to do is going to be great, then they ain't going to be voting for him. And so therefore, he's got to tell them that he's going to be making America great again. And that's all they want to fucking hear. That's all they can get their fucking heads around. Just like when Obama was telling them, change, yes, we can. Because everybody's disaffected and dissatisfied with their lives, and so it doesn't matter what the change is as long as it's change. Now, when I was living in Ghana in Western Africa, there was a political premiership, and they were promoting this one over that one. And I used to speak with some of the natives, and I would say, well, why are you voting for this one? Why are you voting for that one? And they'd say, because we need change. Because one of them jumped on the Obama, because it was during the Obama administration that this thing was going on in Ghana. And so it's just a copycat, which is what the Africans do. They just copy. And so the people were saying, because we want change, because they're tired of walking around barefoot and struggling to find one meal a day. And so, well, I mean, what sort of change? Well, the politicians never told them that. They just told them, we're going to change things around here. And that's all the idiots needed to hear. And we have to look deeper into the level of psyche. So getting back now to why I always bluster about my enlightenment, it's a provocation, isn't it? It's a challenge. Does anybody want to challenge it? Does anybody want to speak about it? And you know what? There's never, ever been a single person in the comments that's ever disputed it. There's never been anyone that's told me that I'm not enlightened. And so, well, what can we make of that then? What can we make of that, people? I mean, it's bizarre, isn't it? You would have thought that I would have had a lot of people challenging me. That was the hope, that I would actually get some of you from out under your stone, and you would come and you would have a go at me, and then, you'd realise that I wasn't such a cunt, and then we'd have a conversation, it'd be all right, and maybe you'd be back for another one. But no, those things never happened. And so it doesn't matter what I say, and this is why I'm in a parody of myself. I'm a caricature. I'm just acting with all these things I'm saying, because it doesn't matter, because long ago I'd realised it doesn't matter anything I say. And this is what the world's dealing with now. It doesn't matter what politicians do. It doesn't matter what they say. Why? Because the masses are fucking fish-brained fucking airheads. There's nothing going on, and so really it doesn't matter. They can do one thing one day, and the next day it's forgotten, or the next day they can deny that they ever did it, and then people will believe them on the following fucking day. It's absolutely atrocious. And so yeah, I mean, my advice for Tom and other people is to look deeper. Whenever they think they've got the answer to anything, just look deeper. Or just go off on a different tangent to see if there could be any other reason why someone is doing something. Because if all you're going to do is just going to have an opinion, and then you're going to project that out onto the world, and you're not going to give it any level of consideration, you're not going to be actually dismantling your own fucking position on things, well, you're going to be making errors. And so there's one for you right there.
And yeah, it's vulnerable. That's the key. That's the key. That's what these first two YouTubers I talked about are completely missing. Vulnerability. And
so what's going on now? I mean, is Tom selling his wares now? Is he saying, aha, those two other gurus out there that you watch and you think of good, and I thought he was good. So this is Tom all over. Yeah, this is why he's afraid to come to speak with me. Because of this, because this is a classic politician fucking tactic, decrying the others for what they don't have and what they can't do for you. So he's telling you now, that's the thing, or this is the thing, people, this is what I'm going to tell you. It's the vulnerability. Look at me, I'm the vulnerable one. That's why my party is called the Vulnerable Party. Those are not vulnerable, or that's where they all fall down.
TheAwakenedBrave will say, well, I don't show vulnerability because I'm not vulnerable. But it's actually the vulnerability in him that you can't acknowledge that makes him so like, I'm better than you, I'm better than you, I'm better than you, because he's desperately trying to hide the vulnerability that dominates.
Wow, desperately trying to hide the vulnerability. Okay, well, I've been through all this, haven't I? You know, I've put my therapy sessions up, and I've told you how I've been through the dark night of the soul, crying every single night when I was watching videos, and the whole ego came crashing down, and I had to build myself up and everything like that. I've done all that stuff. I've done all that stuff which he hasn't done. Tom, you haven't done it. You haven't even fucking come close to doing this stuff. And so what are you talking about? So what I do is then I look at it like this, and I go, well, look, Tom hasn't done any of this stuff. He's never given us any indication that he's done any of this stuff. He's just constantly on one plane of a pity party, throwing a pity party, trying to find his niche, build his niche, which is vulnerable. He's looked at the internet and said, no one's being vulnerable. I can be vulnerable. I can tell them that I like it up the bum and I'm addicted to ganja and, oh, poor me, pity party. And maybe people will pity me, and maybe people will, like that because they can't get it anywhere else. And so that's his wares, that's what he's selling. And is there any one of my viewers that can look at me and see that I am hiding something, that I am deeply stricken and deeply pained, and I've not looked at these things, I've not got a resolve on them, and that's why I need your attention, and I need you to praise me and worship me as a guru? Seriously? Okay, well, why don't you come to talk about it? Of course, there won't be any. There won't even be any comments.
And then for me, the real, oh God, I was about to use the word teacher again. But the person that's really displaying how...
Look, he sighs and he goes, oh God, I was about to use the word teacher again. Tom, you've already told your viewers and me that I was your favorite YouTuber, and you watched every one of my videos, and you even made videos, and I've got one on my channel now. Where you have this bit on YouTube where it says people that mention you in their videos. Well, Tom mentioned me, several times, and you people, you've said that, oh, this guy's talking about you. And so why now are you trying to dismantle me when it was your failing? It was your misunderstanding of what I'm doing here. You thought that maybe I was your salvation. You thought that I had all the answers for you. Well, I've got all the answers for me. I can be pretty self-assured that I've got a good deal of the answers for me. That's why I live in absolute peace every day and joy. That's why I'm always proclaiming the joy I have for the world, which is in the polar opposite to you, Tom. I'm in a position now where I don't want for anything, and I don't have to beg my viewers for likes and subscribes, and I don't need to keep producing because of the monetary thing, because of fear, because if you stop doing this, then you're fucked out there. No, I don't have to do any of that because I've made my nest and I'm absolutely comfortable. And so I do it as a hobby, and because I like talking, I haven't given up yet that I'm going to find someone who is an intellectual and can hold a conversation with me. The reason why I'm not giving up is because I've had a few, let's say this many, I've had this many in the past, like let's say 10 years, and they've been very powerful in my life, and we've learnt an enormous amount from each other, and so I'm desirous to find at least a couple more of those, and so that's why I'm doing my videos, and I bluster about my genius and how I'm so clever and so more enlightened than you because it's the truth. And if anybody's looking for truth, well, you found it here. Hello, you found some truth. And if you think it's all smoke and mirrors, then again, I ask you to come and speak to me about that. And Tom mentioned on one occasion that the death of my mother, it must have been really bad, and you didn't go deep enough into that. And I said, look, Tom, I'm 63 years old this year. I've cried a fucking river about that, and I've asked the questions, and I've gone deep forever, and I haven't found anything that's going to make me anything other than what I am. And so what you think, if I cry every day, if you think I tell people that I'm so broken because of my mother left me and I couldn't pull my bootstraps up, and that's why I'm not a real man, and that's why I can't find any joy in the world, or would you not think, well, fucking hell, you've done really, really well. You've actually rose up like the phoenix from the ashes, and you seem to be a wholesome human being, and you've got your shit together, and you are filled with the joy of life, and you've worked it out whereby you're not going to want for anything for the rest of your life. Well, that seems pretty much an accomplishment to me. So Tom, come on, mate, you need to dig deeper.
How much you have to give, and how much you have to lean in, and how much you have to sacrifice if you want to get to any sort of place of, for me, I'm just using the word peace, but what people call enlightenment. There's a guy called Nathan.
Well, look, okay, he goes on to speak about somebody else now. You've mentioned peace and enlightenment, and you don't have either of those. You are so far away from those things, Tom. So how can you proclaim and profess and give the aura that you know what peace and enlightenment is when you don't? You've been watching it for the past year, and still you don't really recognize what it is. You toss it off as being ego and insecurity.
Have to give, and how much you have to lean in, and how much you have to sacrifice if you want to get to any sort of place of, for me, I'm just using the word peace, but what people call enlightenment. There's a guy called Nathan on a channel called Vibes and Frequencies. I think I found this channel about a year ago, and straight away I was like, oh yeah, that's he's great. And I watched it quite a bit first, and then for some reason I just...
And straight away I thought, oh, that hat fits. Oh yeah, he's the man for me. Peace and vibes. Oh yeah, that's what I'm looking for. That's what I'm so far away from. So let me follow you now.
Just stopped watching for 6 months. Anyway, the last few days it's been the main channel I've been watching. And the guy is really doing it, and I suppose what I mean by it is surrendering. Now he's fully surrendering. Like living in the forest, no coping mechanisms. Really just giving himself and facing everything that comes up.
giving himself, surrendering, facing everything that comes up. Why are you looking for that? Is it because they're all the things that you can't do? They're all the things that you think if you gave up all your vices, all your insecurities, all your fears, then you too would be free. Well, that would be true. How are you going to do it? Not by listening to other people's words, Tom. You're going to do it by going in. You're going to do it by sitting down on your own in meditation, day in, day out, year in, year out. And you're not going to be looking for any savior. You're not going to be looking for any guru, no religion, no one to put on a pedestal. You're going to be looking for the core essence of who and what you are. And if you do it long enough, eventually you'll find it. And then you could say, oh, the Awakened Brave was right all along. Now, again, I have to always give these disclaimers. I'm not here to say how wonderful the Awakened Brave is. I'm just here to deal with the facts. I'm just speaking about facts, aren't I? And so Tom has become disillusioned with my channel and me for reasons that we've discussed. But it's because he's wrong. It's because he hasn't found the true essence of where I'm speaking from and where I actually am as a human avatar, soul, spirit. And he initially liked the words, but he couldn't find the vibration, and found an issue with the facet of the aura that I give off to make sure I push away all of those that can't see through that can't penetrate that because their ego is too affected. Now, I do all of this self-aggrandizing stuff to push people away whose ego is affronted, because you aren't going to evolve past a certain level if you've got that ego there and you've got these biases and you've got this conditioning that's always going to be telling you that that doesn't suit you, like the Goldilocks syndrome. That person's too abrasive, that person's too soft, and oh, this person's just right. You see, people find people that are just right for a while, and then all of a sudden it becomes a bit tough, doesn't it? Or it becomes a bit bitter, and then oh, that one's not right, and so on and on and on and on. But the point is, people, what I'm saying, that will go on for eternity. What we have to do is we have to turn in, and then what we find within ourselves, well, that can only ever be the thing that we could ever consider right. And depending on our state of evolution, we may not be happy with it, but that is right. That's right to us. And so if you look in and you see a mind full of demons, and every time you try to enter into this space of deep meditation, then you've got all these fears and insecurities and all these reasons why you shouldn't be sitting in meditation, because it's pointless and it will never take you anywhere, and it's probably the work of the devil anyway, and this, that, and the other, and fuck it, I don't need that because I can watch somebody else and I'm enlightened anyway, and all that. We can do all that. But if you think you can do all that, well, why don't you just put yourself to the test? Why don't you just go, okay, let's see if that's true. Let me see if I can actually sit in meditation for at least 1 hour every single day. Let me see if I can do it for 1 whole month. 1 whole month, every day. If you get past 1 month, the chances are you can do it for 2, 3, and 4. But it's like anything. It's like fasting, or it's like a new training regime. If you can do something for 1 month, then you're at the beginning stages of overriding your bad habits. And so if you do proper meditation for 1 month, then you will have some glimmer in there of the solace and solitude and the bliss and connection that you know you are. And that is dependable because it's been there all along. It will be there till the day you die and after. And so, Tom, what I'm saying to you, what I'll say to everybody else, that is searching, flicking, all this different sort of stuff. Just turn it within. Just turn it within. sit down and don't look for anything. Just see what happens. Just try to stop thinking, use a mantra. Just do that every day and then see what happens. And then when you do that, you'll realize that what you're looking for all these years has always been there.
Pretty inspiring stuff. But that's the yeah.
Okay, just a word. Pretty inspiring stuff. So you are inspired because you are wanting, you are seeking, you are vacuous, and so therefore it's another guru. It's kind of like, oh, can I get there via him? No, Tom, you're never going to get there via anyone.
Again, what I love about him is this guy is so far advanced of anyone I've spoken about in this video.
So far, but rewind Tom's videos, and only a month ago he was telling people, in actual fact probably 2 weeks ago, there was a video that Tom made it mentioned me and one other person in one of his videos, and said that these are the only two people that I would consider have any level of advancement on this earth. Two people. One was the Awakened Brave, and now all of a sudden you see, due to his hurt, due to feeling disenfranchised and unloved by the Awakened Brave, because I've called him to task. Well, I mean, everyone can see that, can't they? Everyone can see that.
Yet he will still point out his delusions, the lies he tells himself, the stories that he lives in, rather than like the first two guys I spoke about, like just being in the story and actually believing it. And I'm sure I do it too, but I'm not claiming to be anything.
Today you're not, Tom. Today you're not, but a few videos back you were. And you have been, and you've made it perfectly clear that you consider that you are vastly above the vast majority of the people. And so today now you're just selling more of this. You're so humble and you're so vulnerable, and all the rest of them, that they're all frauds. It's kind of like, look into my eyes, look into my eyes. Don't look around my eyes, look into my eyes. Trust in me, trust in me. I'm the only channel you need. I'm the one that's vulnerable. Tom, I mean, I was thinking the other day, Tom doesn't have any level of humor. Everyone that watches my videos find me quirky and funny and fucking downright hilarious at some stages. But I've never even smiled when watching Tom's videos. Tom doesn't elicit that, does he? Because of his low vibration. And so mate, you need to raise your vibration. And I would have thought watching the Awakened Brave channel for as long as you did, well, that would have done it. But I get it why you become disillusioned, because it didn't. And so, well, you haven't been doing the work, have you? You haven't realized how beautiful the world is, and how nature is, and how your essence is, and all the rest of it. You haven't found that deep inner peace and the tranquility, which many people call love. There's a special place and there's an essence which we can dwell in when we exit from the ego, when we pull back from the ego, when we realize our core essence and our center. That's what you need to look for, Tom. And you'll only find that in meditation. Deep discipline.
Other than like just a bloke that's brave enough to switch on a camera and express the struggle of life. But I will also acknowledge there have been times where my ego has got carried away and I have thought of myself as this or that. That's definitely happened.
And so now you're not that person? 2 weeks has passed and you're not that person? I'm not buying it, Tom. I'm not buying it. I would just say it's just more tactics, and it's more defence, justifying why you couldn't speak with me, and why you've shied away from my videos and this, that, and the other, because my blustering about my genius and ego you find repulsive. No, I'd look for something deeper. Ask yourself the question, Tom, what is it really you're running from? What is it really you're afraid of? Maybe it's the real answers. I think you're probably afraid of the real answers, because finding that core essence will obliterate every single thing that you thought you knew about this world.
But yeah, it feels like all that is just crumbling now.
Well, that might be a good thing. If everything else is crumbling now and you're so disillusioned, well, you might be on the premise of some sort of mild egoic implosion. It's not going to be a big one. It's not going to be significant. You need to have a massive egoic implosion if you are going to have this awakening thing. If you're going to have this spiritual awakening thing, the ego has to melt down. And your ego isn't going to melt down. You haven't even come close to that. You haven't suffered any trauma in your life, which is going to be or would have come close to taking you there. Because the vast majority of people who enter into this awakened state do it via the portal of trauma. And that is just a fact. You really have to have these deep, profound lessons. You really have to have been to hell before you're ever going to be in heaven. And this is a metaphor people speak about in relation to why Jesus didn't rise until 3 days after his crucifixion, is because he needed to go to hell first. He needed to go and experience hell before he would ever know what heaven was, even though, ironically, it's supposed to have come from heaven. But, people, it's all stories, isn't it, at the end of the day? But most certainly, people who have suffered greatly, they're the only ones that are ever going to come close to having any level of appreciation. And so this is what Tom needs, and this is what the whole world needs, to be quite frank. And this was the video I was going to make today, and I will make it later. It's about how the world, and I've been saying it for a long time, the world needs a major catastrophe. It needs something to reset the global consciousness of the human being back to a level of gratitude.
Which is hard, because it leaves you with this sense of meaninglessness, nothingness, like what am I striving for, what am I trying to achieve? And maybe that will become apparent. Maybe there is something that will become apparent. But I think I'm starting to accept that there isn't anything, and that nothingness is all there is.
Well, here we go. You just said it there. So far from having a taste of what this spiritual awakening is going to offer you, because the nothingness that the Buddhists speak about is the everythingness. When you enter into the deep and profound state of meditation, where there is absolutely nothing, it's so satiating, it's so beautifying. It is the best sensation that you can ever experience, because you exit the trauma of what it is to be a human being, and you go back to source, which is your natural state of pure consciousness. So let's have a listen to what he says here.
Nothingness, like what am I striving for, what am I trying to achieve? And maybe that will become apparent. Maybe there is something that will become apparent.
What are you striving for? What are you looking for? Let's just listen to that again. We've only got a few minutes left of this video, people.
That's definitely happened. But yeah, it feels like all that is just crumbling now. Which is hard, because it leaves you with this sense of meaninglessness, nothingness, like what am I striving for, what am I trying to achieve? And maybe that will become apparent. Maybe there is something that will become apparent. But I think I'm starting to accept that there isn't anything, and that nothingness is all there is. And God, it's so depressing. It's so depressing.
Nothingness is all there is. It's so depressing. Well, what are you looking for, Tom? This is the thing. Maybe you should take a notepad and a pen and write down, what you're actually looking for, so you can tell your unconscious what you're looking for, and so your unconscious will help you in directing the body towards it. Because you see, look, this is how the unconscious works. If you keep telling the unconscious something, then the unconscious is going to give you what you are telling it, because the unconscious doesn't have a vetting system whereby it thinks to itself like the cerebral cortex does. Is this useful to me, or is it not useful to me? No, the unconscious absorbs all the information. It absorbs how you're feeling, and it absorbs your vibration, and then it will self-perpetuate that which it is receiving. It makes sense, doesn't it? It's not going to be changing. It doesn't have the jurisdiction to change anything. No, your conscious mind has the jurisdiction to change something, not the unconscious. So if you keep walking around saying that life is pointless and nothing gives you any pleasure, then you are telling yourself over and over again, you are hypnotizing yourself. Life is boring, life is boring, life is boring, my life's a mess, my life's a mess, my life's a mess. There's nothing of any value in this life at all. Oh my God, it's so boring. Oh my God, everybody is so disappointing. Why can't I find what I'm looking for? Well, you've not even told your unconscious what you're looking for. If you told your unconscious what you're looking for, if you said to your unconscious, I want to find the deep and inner peace that these gurus have been speaking about, the deep inner peace that the TheAwakenedBrave has been speaking about and proclaims and gives the awe that he may have found. Yes, that deep inner peace. If you said you wanted to find that, and if you keep saying it to yourself, then at some stage your unconscious is going to give you a pop-up which is going to say, well, you have to start to do the things which is going to bring this about. And then you're going to go, well, what are those? And then you look on the internet and you go, how am I going to find deep inner peace? And everyone's going to say to you, meditation, meditation, meditation. Okay, then you'll have to start meditating, Tom. And then when you find this void of nothingness, which isn't actually nothing, it's the bliss. It's imbued with fullness, because that is the true essence of what spirit is. And so you need to educate yourself more in Buddhist philosophy. You need to read more spiritual stuff, to be quite frank, because you're just running around. You're like a barbarian in the pinball machine in the Matrix. You're getting slapped from this place and that place and everywhere, and that's why you're feeling like a fucking barbarian in a pinball machine, mate. You've got to stop all this bullshit. You've got to stop seeking. You just sit down, shut the fuck up, and go within. And then all will be revealed.
Because it seems that the only peace, the only way to go, the only possibility of experiencing a deeper experience of existence is by detaching more and more, letting go more and more. See, just not partaking more and more.
No, that isn't the case. By not partaking more and more. No, the participation of life is a beautiful thing. Why would you disregard the beautiful arena that you're in now? Why? Because you can't see it, Tom. You can't see it and you can't feel it. And look at the face, look at the eyes of the depression, of the desperation, of the exhaustion. You just like fucking hell. You're clinging to life by a hair's breadth, I would think, at this stage. And goodness me, you've watched my videos for so long, Tom. This is what I don't get. What part of finding the deep inner peace within you, sitting in a fucking garden, albeit it's a graveyard, with some fucking animals and the sun on your body, and what part of that don't you think is finding that glory of life? And that's participating in it, and then walking out in the nature like you're walking around now. Start looking at things, start appreciating things, instead of throwing a fucking pity party for one, bro. Meditation. Take it on board, Tom.
And really, the only thing I've got, oh no, yeah, screen time is a big one for me. Smoking. They're the
Distraction.
only things I partake in now.
Yeah, distraction from the self.
I don't partake in friendships, relationships, social circles.
The natural world about you. You're not partaking in that beautiful fucking landscape which you walk in. You only gone there to escape yourself, which is you see by the representation of the fucking herd all around you. You're so disaffected with being a human being because you've not contacted the spirit, mate.
I just don't partake in any of that. The idea of this event. Let's go to this event.
You're in an event now, mate. Look up at the sky. Look up at the
I can't
clouds.
believe I ever used to do that.
Fucking hell. Here's the thing. People walking on this earth which don't have the slightest bit of appreciation for being on this tiny little fucking speck of life in the whole darkness of the cosmos, spinning around the glorifying sun with a billion varieties of flora and fauna and all these wonderful things to do, and you're walking around throwing a fucking pity party, mate. Man. I'd seriously investigate your mind virus. You have a depression of some fucking magnitude, mate. And I don't know whether psychotropics would bring you out of it. It sometimes gives some people a lift, but you think they're all poison, so you wouldn't do that. You think meditation is for fucking plonkers and plebs, so you wouldn't do that. So where are you going, Tom? Where are you going? I have an idea of where you're going, mate. You're going into a darker and darker and less forgiving mental state. That's where you're going, bro. There's only one way out, mate. That's towards the light. That's deciding that you want the light, and you learn about how to get there.
This is going to be another one of those videos that I don't want to post. Oh, what's this person going to think? What's that person going to think? Oh, what are they going to say? How are we going to react? Ego.
Every single second. Why are you so confined by what other people think? Why is that so paramount in your mind? It's because you are so desperate that you want to give somebody something to put you on a pedestal. Tom speaking real truth, and look at how vulnerable he is. Forget it, mate. You keep saying that it doesn't fucking matter, and it doesn't matter, and yet you can't escape your own paradox, can you? You're in the deepest level of paradox that I've ever seen. Yeah, you got to let it all fucking go, but you can't let it go. Why? Because it's your living. Because you are desperate for the advertising revenue coming from this, because that's the only thing that's sustaining you. And so, wow, I don't know, mate. You was toying around with ideas of what you're going to do, what direction the channel's going to go in. Well, I mean, I gave you an opportunity, mate. I gave you an opportunity to come to speak with someone like me. And that could be a whole different fucking trajectory of where your channel could go, at least one of your channels, because there's so many holes and flaws in your philosophy, dude. And I'm making these videos out of the compassion that I decry, and out of a, a friendship, really, for this guy. He's trying. Nobody wants to kick anyone when they're down. He's trying the best he can, but he's got blinkers on. He's got his blindfold on. He's got his blindfold on in the blackened room, and he's feeling around the walls, which don't have any fucking indication of any doorway or pathway. That's where Tom is at this moment in time, and we can only feel sorry for that state of consciousness. I felt sorry for people like that all my lives that don't find any joy in life. And when people around you, close to you, they get depressed and they're on antidepressants, or maybe they're drinking too much, and they can walk their dog without ever looking up at the clouds, without ever appreciating the sun on their face, without ever stopping to look at the flower or indeed a weed. Look at the weed, people. Don't neglect all the weeds. The weeds are all beautiful in their own right, only if you have the beauty within you to appreciate them. Oh, another death breath sigh. Wow. Whew. Well, goodness me, I think I feel fucking drained.
I had two critics whose response was,
Of watching that dude. But thank goodness that I am like a star creating nuclear fission, which keeps generating a massive amount of energy and gratification for the life that I'm experiencing. Um, so this video wasn't just about Tom, by the way. It's me speaking about Tom for the benefit of all of you viewers. So therefore, you can see two perspectives on life. You can see which way that you don't really want to go. And then you can see a way that you might want to go. At least my way. I'm not throwing a pity party. I'm telling you every day I'm enthralled with life. I love my body being active and strong, and the world about me and all that. I'm not too keen on the pink apes because they're a bunch of fucking idiots for the best part. But I do hold a little bit of hope that there's going to be the odd one that's going to see a flicker of something within me that they think is worthwhile fucking talking to. For goodness sakes, out of all these years I've been doing this, how few have considered that I'm a worthwhile entity to speak to. It's fucking incredible. It really is incredible. What do you think that problem is? Well, why do you think that is? You know, there's loads of people all over the fucking world talking with each other. What are they talking about? They're talking about somebody else, aren't they? Or they're talking about Trump, or they're talking about, you know, what this person said and what that person said. In my videos, I'm speaking from the core essence of my human experience, and I'm saying I'm human too, albeit I tell you I must be a fucking alien with the level of interaction I get. But I'm showing you another facet of how you can look at the world, and I've shown you for years walking around the natural environment what people would think mundane and fucking boring as fuck, like Tom walking past the clouds, the sky, the trees, the animals, never mentioning the fucking song of birds or anything like that, because he just doesn't hear anything. The people thought those who were dancing were mad, simply because they couldn't hear the music. Do any of you have anything remotely profound to say about this video? Or am I too just wasting my fucking time? Oh, I need all the adoration, and I need everyone to say how great the TheAwakenedBrave video. I'm looking for cunts that are alive. That's what I'm doing. Just give me an indication that some cunt out there is alive. And they've got the remotest little bit of fucking balls about them that could come and have a fucking conversation to tell me how shit their fucking life really is.